me some ice, skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns, talk to me nice, you got to wine me. Anytime I'm getting hungry, peel me a grape.
I'm Laura Bonicelli, and we are cooking with Italian style. It's not always fast, it's not always easy, and it's not always Italian. We use the freshest and finest ingredients that we can find and afford, and we not only savor the meals we make, but we savor making them. That's cooking with Italian style. This week, we're celebrating the new year with my crab and mascarpone stuffed phyllo packages, set off beautifully with a lemon beurre blanc sauce. Well, let's get cooking. There are 3 things that make for a great New Year's Eve. First of all, spending it with someone that you really want to bring the new year in with. Second, something that sparkles. Champagne and Prosecco are also in that category. And third, crab meat, some form of crab meat. Now, a couple of years ago, my friend Jean came over on New Year's Eve, and she made this shrimp stuffed phyllo packet that was so cute. I just loved the presentation. So I thought, oh, that would be great with crab meat and maybe a lemon beurre blanc sauce. So that's what we're doing today. Beurre blanc literally translates to white butter, and that's pretty much what this sauce is all about. So we're going to start with a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, a cup of chicken broth, and a minced shallot. So into a small saucepan, my lemon juice, chicken broth, and the shallot. And I'm going to get this on the stove and reduce it down to about 3 tablespoons of liquid. So you can see I've just reduced this down to just a few tablespoons of liquid. Add in here my 1/4 cup of heavy cream and whisk that a little bit and reduce it again by about 1/3. Okay, now I'm going to just add in 3 tablespoons of my butter and leave it on the heat while I quickly whisk that in until it's completely melted. Then working on and off the heat, tablespoon by tablespoon, you'll see I'll pull this off a little bit just because it'll start to bubble up. And then as each one gets incorporated, I add another. And tablespoon by tablespoon until it's all melted into the sauce. Okay, my last piece of butter. And then what I'm going to do is just season this with salt and pepper. I'm using unsalted butter so that I can control my seasoning. So salt and a little white pepper, and I'm going to set it aside. Do not refrigerate this sauce. It will separate, and it will be very, very difficult to get it back into this beautiful creamy state. So here are all of my ingredients for my crab packages. Notice how I have everything prepped, measured, all ready to go. I do that a lot with really complicated recipes. It prevents that kind of crash and burn thing that happens when you realize halfway through that you're missing something. So what I'm going to do is, this is a medium onion minced, a clove of garlic, and a half a red pepper chopped, and I'm going to saute that in some butter. These have been sauteing very gently for about 8 minutes. You do not want to brown these. You want these to just get nice and soft. If you brown them, they take on a different flavor. The onions and the garlic will get almost bitter, and that is not what we were looking for. Now I'm going to just turn the heat up to high, really get them going for a minute here. Then in goes my cognac. And what we're going to do with this is just cook it off. Cook off all the alcohol, and it'll leave behind this just wonderful flavor that will accent our crab perfectly. I'm going to let that cook down, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to cool it down and put it together with my mascarpone cheese. So these are all cooled down. I'm putting them in a larger bowl. You can tell when the alcohol is cooked off because you've stopped smelling it, and then you just take it off the burner. So here's my crab meat. This is 18 ounces of lump crab, so 3 cans of lump crab meat. You can buy it frozen as well. And then this is 4 ounces of homemade mascarpone cheese. And that's about a half a cup there. And then we're going to put in a little salt and pepper. We'll taste this when we're all done and adjust that if necessary. And then my secret ingredient, a little sambal. If you've never used sambal, it is fabulous. It's the best hot sauce there is. So I'm going to mix this all up really thoroughly, taste it, adjust the seasonings, and then we are going to talk about phyllo dough. So unroll it like so. Get rid of the paper. Then lay it in front of you horizontally, and we're going to just cut this right down the middle. like so. Lay these on top of each other. Oops, I lost a piece there. Okay, then I'm going to take a plate and place it on top and basically cut around so I've got circles. A little bit bigger than my halves, but that's okay. This is forgiving. I'm going to place this under some damp paper towels because it really likes to dry out easily. Throw this away. Okay, get rid of that. Now, working sheet by sheet, we take one sheet of phyllo and brush it with butter. Make sure you get the whole thing covered. I know it's a lot of butter. This actually is 2 sheets, but that's okay. Actually, what I'll do is push this one on top. Then I'm going to take that sheet that was stuck on the bottom and put it on top of the second, as a second sheet. It's kind of like working with very flimsy paper. But again, it's quite forgiving. And then brush that again. And then a third sheet right on top. And note that I am always covering up this phyllo dough in between my little pile of it because it dries out really quickly. However, you are dousing it with butter, so again, it's really quite forgiving. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to put in the center about a teaspoon of panko. And the reason for the panko is, for one thing, it does add a little bit of crunch to it, but also it absorbs some of the moisture from the crab meat, so it doesn't make your phyllo dough soggy on the bottom. Okay, so then my crab mixture, nice and spicy sambal in there, and about 1/8 of a cup in the center. And this is the fun part. This is where we make the package, and we sort of just draw it up like this, kind of folding it as you go around. Just like that. And we get all the pieces up there, and we press them together really well, like that, and give them a little bit of a twist. Now, I'm sure this won't surprise you. We're going to brush this with more butter. What the heck, it's New Year's Eve. Okay, more butter, and then onto a buttered baking sheet. Now we'll make the next one. These are all set to go into a 400-degree oven, and they only take about 12 minutes. You just want to get them nicely browned. And I'm going to keep going on this. I have at least another 8 to go. So these are out of the oven, and I set them on a rack to cool a little bit. Oh, they smell like great bread baking. What I'm going to do is just tie my little package with a chive, just to give it a little garnish, like so. And then I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and just snip off the ends. Yeah, okay. Then on my plate, I heated up my Beurre Blanc sauce and whisked it to get it nice and together. And on my plate, remembering that this is very intense, I'm going to put just a little puddle of sauce. Maybe just a little bit more, but don't need too much. It is quite lemony. Okay, perfect. And then into that, I'm going to just place my little phyllo package, like so. So this is a wonderful starter this way. You could plate 3 of these with a little more sauce, and that would be an entree. Beautiful. So here we have my crab and mascarpone stuffed phyllo packages with lemon beurre blanc sauce. I really hope you enjoy making this recipe and cooking with Italian style. Buon anno and buon appetito!